Sunday, start of another week, right? Hey, good morning, Karen. Good to see you here. Thanks for stopping by. Hope everybody's having a great Sunday. Hey, what's up, Gary? Good morning, man. Over here looking at this. Hey, good morning, Poinja. Tanya West. Good morning. I know y'all probably like me. What's up, Tina Baco? Good to see you there, Tina. I'm over here in the Strait of Hormuz right now. Not me personally. That's where I'm kind of focusing a little bit of attention right now because this little strait here, I'll show you guys here in a minute, and what goods flow through this strait have a huge impact on certain parts of the world. And it's a trade route. And we all know if a trade route gets any type of unusual disruption, it can send a domino effect through the entire world's economy and various other trade routes. So I'm just trying to learn for myself because I don't watch the news because you can't believe the thing they say. So I'll show you exactly what I'm doing. Good morning, Kitana. What's up, Dave? Mother's, excuse me, Mother's Day in England. Nice. Well, happy Mother's Day to all the mothers in England. Right on. Mothers are great people. I gotta be biased though. I had the best mother ever. Yeah, everybody's got the best mom, right? My mom was really cool. She was a good mom. I couldn't have handpicked a better mother. She was a very good woman. But let me show you where I'm at. Just kind of show you what I'm working on today. What's up, my Brighton from Brighton, United Kingdom? What's up, Dorshane Trays? Sending love back at you. Right on. I know moms are special people. None of us would be here without mothers. Remember that. Okay, here we go. This is what's up. This is what I'm doing. This is that Strait of Hormuz that I was talking about. Okay. Now, none of us like what's going on over here. I get it. I don't either. But unfortunately, we got to kind of keep an eye on it. I don't get my information from the news. I choose to do it myself. So I have this app here that monitors ship traffic all around the world in real time. Look at that. These are ships. All of these are ships of every kind all around the world. And these are trade routes. Okay. Some of them were for pleasure. Some of these are pleasure crafts, not many. Majority of them are cargo ships of some kind. But here's the strait. Okay. And honestly, what flows out of here for the most part is oil. Okay. It goes out and it services, for instance, the oil that comes through here. I believe 80% of it goes to India. Okay. Um, there's a lot of little factories and things like that over in India that could throw a wrench into the global trade routes. Right now, from what I understand, there's no traffic of any kind going through here with regard to oil. I'm just looking at the vessels that are in here now. That is a uh, cargo vessel, Indian ship and crew. That's an LPG tanker. It's just kind of sitting right there. This one here, is a bulk carrier. And what a bulk carrier is, it can carry any type of raw material. It doesn't necessarily have to be, oil or anything like that. What's this one here? That is a bulk carrier as well. Um, doesn't say the country. I mean, it has a flag there. I just don't recognize it. What's this one here? Another bulk carrier, same flag. But there's not a whole lot of traffic moving in and out. I've been watching this for the last couple of days. This is a container ship. This carries those big cargo containers. There you go. That's what this one's doing. It's carrying dry goods. Okay, not bulk. Yes, bulk dry goods. Okay, so that one's right down here. But overall, there's no traffic in or out of the Strait of Hormuz. Oh, been like that for a few days. So, yeah, that does affect all of us in some way. That's a trade route. It's a major trade route. So there's some airports, from what I understand, over here. I believe in where is this at? Dubai. The airport over in Dubai, I believe, is closed as well. Katana, the Strait of Hormuz is closed to all shipping. What's up, Steve? Right on, brother. Hey, Moon Fury from Florida. Well, Florida, you know I do. Uh, Amazing amount of data going on. You're right. You're right there, my Brighton. Why is it closed? Do we know? Moon Fury? Apparently, Iran kind of used to, from what I understand, control the flow going through the Strait of Hormuz. I mean, they're still trying to hang on to that, from what I understand. So they're not letting anything. And here's the thing, we don't get any oil from Iran. So for oil prices in America and gas prices in America to go up, I don't understand. We're not getting oil from there. So it's not really directly affecting the trade routes over here. Um, in fact, you can go to any port over here in the States and look around. This is just how you educate yourself, you know. I don't listen to the news. I mean, yeah, I know they're saying, oh, nothing coming out of there, but I like to confirm it myself. That's all. Okay, for instance, of course, there's a lot of oil rigs out here. What's up, guys? Good to see you here. And we're here in the Gulf. This is Houston right here. This is the Gulf Coast. See all these tankers here? These are all oil tankers. Oil chemical tanker. There's a bunch of them sitting out here. This is just a normal day. Whoop, I didn't want that. What's up? We don't need photos. Don't need photos there, little buddy. Just need maps. There we go. But those are all oil tankers off the coast of Houston, ready to come in. And you can go over here to the Los Angeles port, and you'll see oil tankers sitting out here as well. Here they are. Oil tanker, crude oil tanker. All of those are crude oil tankers. Aegean Dream. I always like to look up the place of origin, if you can understand. There's another crude oil tanker. These are all over here in Southern California area waiting to come in. There's a lot of the grains you see on here. This green one right here is a dry cargo, dry goods. From sometimes those flags I do not recognize. See this one here? Dry goods, big containers. This one's from, uh, but yeah, our oil shouldn't be five bucks a gallon for gas, but it is right on, man. Just an excuse to raise the prices? Sure. By golly, if there's a chance to raise prices on anything, I mean, they're going to do it. Isn't that the right thing to do? Yes, make things more expensive. That's great. Make it hard on people. Yeah, don't make it easier. Make it hard. And make it harder. Make the gas prices $30 a gallon. Oh my goodness, wouldn't that be phenomenal? Yes, they could get so rich and just take all the steam out of the engines, and but that's the problem. They'll never make it 30, which isn't a problem, but if gas prices ever got up to $30 a gallon, well, that would totally slow the economy down. So they raise it just enough to make record profits and make it hard on people. That's the way I see it. Yeah, I hear you, Tanya. It would take a collective effort, though, to make a difference. 4 or 5 people wouldn't make a difference. But if the collective ever really used their power, you would see real change. You would see positive change. But it would take a collective effort. And most people, honestly, I think are too afraid to step out of their comfort zone. Even though their comfort zone may be uncomfortable, it's all they got. So, um, I think that's where people are. They recognize that there's nothing right about everything that's going on, nothing. But they're just afraid, and understand to be. I get it. People are afraid. They should be. They're human beings. They have emotions. They have feelings, and life is a struggle these days for a lot of people. Um, and they don't want to give up what little they do have, even though in the long run it might be for something much better and much greater. You can't see past the chaos to see the light at the end of the tunnel. And I think it would be a positive thing, but you don't know. So yeah, I've been kind of researching that this morning, guys. Thanks for hanging out with me. These are some of the things that I do. If you're wondering, this is what I do. Yes, I do research things like this. I research ship traffic. I research airplane traffic. I research the weather. I research everything that's interesting to me, and that I think will be interesting to other people. There's a lot of um, U.S. planes over here flying in and out of Dubai. Like right now, there's two two planes. That's Dubai. What I understand, the Dubai airport's closed. This is a U.S. plane, and this is a U.S. plane, and that's Dubai. That's a U.S. plane. Look at that. That's a U.S. plane. They've got Dubai surrounded right now. You see that? Yeah. Looks like they're offering a layer of security almost. Look, one, two, three, four. These are all U.S. planes flying around Dubai right now. And over there, it's like 7 o'clock in the evening, give or take an hour or two. So that's how I kind of keep up with things over there. I refuse to have the news tell me what's up. Formula One racing event canceled in Saudi Arabia. Thank you, Michael. Didn't know that. Good morning, Cajun Red 8272. Moon Fairy, sharks in the water. You're right. Hey, now, all of you should be getting ready for church. Good morning, Gray Beard Sky Daddy. Good morning, Journey into the Madness. I hear you. Finding an alternative to old fuels hasn't been very successful. Moon Fairy has been very successful. It's just they haven't been released to the public. That's the thing. It gets complicated and swampy. Yeah, there have been a lot of good inventions. There have been uh, very smart people that have created engines that run off of water. They get put on a shelf somewhere in a warehouse, and Yeah, they're not used. I've heard that. I've actually heard that from a very smart man, at least a man I trust. Yep. So, yeah, there have been good inventions. What's up, Cajun bread? Yeah, good morning, guys. This is kind of how I research things in the morning. Bounce around, go to different places, get ready to go here. It's gonna start getting hot out here, man. Woo! That's another thing I was looking at. I was kind of positively hoping that, hey, maybe the weather will change a little bit out here for the south, western United States, but it's not going to. There's a big old heat dome that's getting ready to, well, it is forming right now, and it's gonna stay out here over the western part of the country. Heat's getting trapped under the domes, the whole thing. It'll be like that for about 4 days. All goes back to the jet stream and all that, it's just weather. Power outages galore. Oh my gosh, the power outages yesterday, pretty much all week last week were crazy. And I think, let's look, yeah, I still have 88,000 in Ohio, which I'm surprised considering they were over 600,000. But here's the one that you don't normally see. Check this out, guys. You don't normally see. I'm getting my card ready for today's uh, live stream. I'm gonna get it done early today, probably. Check this out. This is wild. Okay, Hawaii. See Hawaii down here? Hawaii never has power outages. Yesterday they were at 114,000. Right there. Right now they're at 54,000 without power. Hawaii, there's been storms out there. And guess what? There's more coming. More coming. 47,000 right now in Pennsylvania without power. Michigan 12,000. As I mentioned, Ohio 88, Pennsylvania 47, Colorado 10. Texas 4,500. So you're getting the power on very quick, and that's awesome. Here's the wacky wanchy. Well, hey, what's up, Karen? Thank you. Good morning, Purple Dragon. Love and peace to the world. Delray Beach, Florida. I'm with you on that. Here's the jet stream going absolutely bonkers. Look at that. You almost have a negative tilt here. Negative tilt. Whenever you see negative tilt, ski, uh, that can mean radical weather changes right there. There you go. That's what's almost a negative tilt. But yeah, this you know how it is. That steers all the energy that creates weather, and it's just a global weather pattern that's influenced by La Nina and El Nino. Yeah, that's a weak La Nina pattern. And whenever there's a weak La Nina pattern in place, um, it's real moist up in western British Columbia. As you can see, it's definitely cranking the energy in right up in here. All right, and the Pacific Northwest, um, Washington, Oregon, Montana. That's a weak La Nina. That's why that jet stream goes up, and you almost have a negative tilt in the central plains. So we're going to have cold over east of the Mississippi. We're going to have heat west of the Mississippi, and it's going to be hot for about 4 days straight. Out here, we're going to have temperatures in the hundreds in the Phoenix area, out here where I live. Um, not looking forward to it, man. We just don't normally see hundreds in March. We love March. March is one of our favorite months out here. Severe thunderstorms. Yes, Michael, you know it. Especially in southern Arkansas. Yes, sir. How much power does Cuba have? I don't know. That's a good question. Last I knew, they were at least half of the island was without power. But for some reason, and maybe it's just the country that can't get the information, but this is the place to go for power outages right here. It's poweroutage.us. Cuba's never on here. Nope. I have Canada websites. Yes, Canada. In fact, I think they got the power, most of the power back on. Let's look and see. Our friends up in Canada. We have a lot of friends in Canada. Absolutely. Um, I even have a power outage map for the United Kingdom. They don't normally have a whole lot of power outages. Yeah, they got the power back on. They had power outages in Ontario, but they're back on now. Looking good up in Canada. Those storms don't just stop at the US Canada border, they keep going up into Canada. Yeah, high winds and all that. You know what? Let's just look. You want to look over in the UK? I do have a map over in the UK that I use, but I don't have to go to it a whole lot because they don't have a lot of severe weather. Let's see. Where you at there, buddy? Come on. Oh, there it is. No. Okay. Canada, United Kingdom. Here we go. Yeah, here's the UK. Not too much happening. Pretty quiet, right? Yeah, it usually is. But I do check in over there, guys. That's one of my pit stops. I go to the UK, go to Canada, go to the US, look at the solar flares and all that, cosmic rays, Mount Kilauea, keeping an eye on Three-Eye Atlas, the most bizarre comet to ever go through the solar system in modern times. Modern times. I'm sure there have been other very strange ones we just didn't know about it. Schumann's cranking today. Who knows the Schumann is cranking today? Severe storms in South Carolina tonight with snow in the mountains. I know, right? Thank you, Poinja, for the update. How much power does Cuba have? Yeah, I know. Cuba, last I knew, 50% of the island was without power. In the last 18 months, Cuba has had island-wide power outages. That has been a common theme in Cuba. Island-wide power outages, at least four that I know of, island-wide, and the current situation right now. Um, but I can't get any accurate information, so if I don't have accurate information, I'm not going to just speculate, and take a guess. I don't know. I haven't. The sources that I have don't get information from Cuba. A lot of information they just don't. Good morning, TJ Daily. No, we got a comet coming to dive into the sun, Moon Fairy. It's coming in April, and it's going to put on quite a show. And we're going to have a front row seat to that comet. Um, Should have. We'll have a front row seat to it. Got some. Here we go. I'll show you what it could look like. We'll see. I guess I'm looking over at a video folder on a different monitor here. I use a couple of different monitors. Where did it go? Got too many folders over here. Got to organize this today. I will. I'll organize it. Hmm. Oh, there it is. These are recent high drama comments. And you know what? We're going to have one come in April. It'll look something like that more than likely. Will it dive right into the sun? I don't know. But these are some old classics. Lovejoy, McNaught. Yeah, look at that baby. That's wild, right? That is wild. So yeah, we're gonna wait and watch. That's all we can do. But we've got one coming in April. Yeah, absolutely. Supposed to dive right into the sun. We've seen sun divers before. We've seen some come very, very close. They get close to the sun and they break apart. We've seen that. Um, so we don't know how it's going to unfold. We'll see. It might be another dramatic show. We'll have to wait and see. I don't think there's anything going on. I mean, there was a small solar flare, small M flare. There's been a coronal hole on the Earth facing side of the sun, but you know what? Overall, solar activity has been pretty quiet. Yeah, pretty quiet. Nothing to write home about. You know, here's a look at the Soho instruments. Here we go, ski. Soho, Lasco C2. This is the close view. This is the wide field of view. And this is where we'll see the comet right up in here. We'll see the comet come in, and then we'll watch it closer over here. And then we'll watch it also on the stereo ahead spacecraft. Yeah, so we'll have three different perspectives of the comet. Usually, but not always, usually the stereo ahead spacecraft delivers the most dramatic, but you never know. We might see something this year from the OGOS 19, this one here. And you never know what's going to pop up on this thing. This is a newer spacecraft that monitors the sun, and it orbits the sun in between the Earth and the sun, actually in between the Earth and the moon. And it orbits the sun, so every once in a while the moon will enter this field of view. It's pretty wild. I haven't seen it though in a few days. This is the stereo, I believe, stereo. Yeah, this is the stereo spacecraft. And for whatever reason, sometimes it's just not available. Like the SDO hasn't been available for, oh man, 4 days. That's one of my favorites. The SDO, yeah, man. I've used that one for a long time. It's one of my favorites. One of my favorites. Ray is taking pictures already. Nice. Thank you, E 7.0. That the moon is shrinking, or maybe it's moving a little farther away from the Earth. If it's moving a little farther away from the Earth, which it is, it's going to appear to be shrinking. You're right, Purple Dragon does look like an angel, right? What's up, Carlos? Ah, TJ Daily, what's up, huh? Wish I could tell you. TJ Daily. Right on, right on. TJ Daily. You know, TJ Daily, I was one of the original planet hunters. I became a planet hunter back in 2010. The community ended up growing to 100,000 people, and I was in the first one group of 1,000 um, that got chosen to become a planet hunter. Because I got in early. I wanted to do it, something I wanted to do, and I wanted to do it now. So I got to do it, and we had access to the Kepler telescope and monitored patches of sky. Pretty boring, actually, but the rewards, at least to me, were off the charts because heck, man, I had a chance to name a new planet. Yeah, and I did submit two for consideration. When you find something that could be a planet orbiting a star, what you do, you pick out a point of light in a star field, and you go in close and you sit and you monitor that point of light, and you're waiting for the light to dim. When it dims, it has to dim three times. So if it dims once, you're like, okay, that could have been caused by an orbital. Like if you were to look at the Earth from a long ways away, you would see the moon dim the light that comes off the Earth periodically, throughout the course of a month. Um, Same rules apply when you're looking at distant lights in the nighttime sky. So yeah, I found two out of hundreds, just two. That doesn't mean there weren't more, but I found two that had the dimming effect, and they did three dims three times. So thank you, Karen. Yeah, the moon's moving farther away, just a little bit, so it's going to make it look smaller. But yeah, so I guess what I'm getting at is my time. in the Planet Hunter community, my time using the Kepler Space Telescope, my time studying stars that I would have normally had been able to see if I weren't a planet hunter. It gave me a whole new perspective on what all this means, and where we exist. Gave me a whole new a whole. It opened up my mind to infinite possibilities. Okay, and then I began to study in my own way, doing research my own way, the mechanics of the Earth and the mechanics of every planet that we share this star with, and we all share this star, sun. That's what we call it. We call it the sun. If it weren't for the sun, none of us would be here. Number one, none of the other orbitals orbiting the sun would be here because we're all gravitationally, that's what they call it, but we're connected to the sun. Okay, but if it weren't for the sun's energy, none of these planets would just drift off. They'd be rogue drifters. And there are rogue drifters out there. Sure, sure there are. They're called gypsies. Boy, again, we talked about this a couple days ago. The private jet traffic is just off the charts. I'm looking one, two, three. There's too many to even count. What is up with the private jets? Wow. I just happened to notice a collection, a big cluster of private jets here over North Africa. And I'm like, all righty then. But no, being a Planet Hunter gave me a whole new perspective on things. It sure did. Good morning, Safford, Arizona. Thanks for stopping by. You're very welcome, TJ Daly. I got some new information coming out here real soon, and I'm going to explain the way that my mind works, and I think it will resonate with a lot of people, and I'm sure it will resonate with you too. Um, at least I hope so. I hope so. It's taken me many years to come to this conclusion, and I believe it's accurate. I don't think it could be any other way. But we'll talk about that later. Yeah, we'll talk about that later. That's coming, TJ Daily. I'm working on it now. I'm working on it now. That's crazy that they even have money to fly. Exactly, TJ. That's what the book's coming out soon, buddy. Yes, sir, TJ. But no, that's where my mind. I look at that and I'm like, okay, man, this stuff's expensive. Whoa, who's got money to be jet setting like this all over the world? I'm telling you, they're everywhere. Right now, there are thousands of private jets in the air. Who's paying for all that? What do you just put it on your debit card? Just oh yeah, yeah, here book a $6,000 private jet. Okay, yeah, let's do it. Not. And then over here looking again. Here, I'll just show you. They're everywhere, man. All of these over here, the majority of these planes, this is over the Gulf, Caribbean, Atlantic. Most of these are private jets. Vast majority of these are private jets. Tons of private jets in there. Seriously, I'll zoom in for it. See the smaller planes, and they're actually kind of hard to see. But here you go. Private jet, 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 private jet. They're everywhere. Private jet, 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 private. I mean, are you serious right now? I've used this app for a long time, guys. Yes, yes, I do. I've used it for a long time. I don't know. I guess stranger things have happened. It's a lot of money. And they've always been on here. It's not like, oh, they just started adding these types of aircraft on here. They've always been on here. They monitor balloons. So of course they monitor these types of jets. They're jets. They got helicopters out here hovering off the coast of Louisiana. And these helicopters, you know what they are? These helicopters right here. Here's one, here's one. These helicopters right here. There's another one there. They're waiting to transport crew members, new crew members, out to the oil rigs. They switch them out. They're on like 30-day rotations. There's thousands of rigs out there, so there's always a constant rotation in place. And those helicopters take crews out, bring crews back. That's what they do. There's another cluster of private jets off of the west coast of Florida. That ain't no joke. Look at this. Private jet, 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 private jet. Look at that. All of those are private jets. To see one out in here a couple of years ago was the norm. Now there's more private jets than there are commercial jets there. Yeah, right here in this area, there's one, two, three, four, five, six commercial, seven commercial jets, and like 12 private jets. Again, just an observation, that's all. Yep, just an observation. It's a story. They're telling a story about something. Yes, sir. But working on the book, TJ. I'll have it done this year. Makes you wonder, Moon Fairy. There's a reason. That's what I'm saying. There's a reason why there's so much of this private jet traffic. And maybe that's it. Maybe that's it, you know. It's not anything nefarious. It's not anything that's really um, of concern. It just means something. Why are there so many private jets in the air today when you have inflation off the rails? Food prices are higher than they've ever been in the history of humanity. Gas prices are going up again. Rent is as high as it's ever been in the history of humanity. Interest rates are through the roof. You have credit cards now charging people 28, almost 30% on credit cards, and you're telling me that there is an overwhelming increase in private airplane traffic. There should be a decrease if anything. But no, there's an exponential increase. And again, every facet of your life, your power bill's more expensive, your water is more expensive, everything is more expensive, including flying on a private jet. It just doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense. That's all. Yeah, it makes you wonder, Moon Fairy. TJ Daily, I'm not an expert on the ancient technology, but I believe you're probably right. Oh, thank you, Andrew. Um, yeah, the ancient technology thing. You know, that's we were talking about this the other day. How the pyramids. You know, check this out. There are pyramids all over the world that are thousands of years old. How did they share their architectural knowledge from Mexico, all through Mexico, Central America, with folks over in Egypt or vice versa? How did they share that technology? Because it couldn't have been an easy task assembling perfectly square chunks of rock that weigh probably in the neighborhood of 10 to 20,000 pounds each with your bare hands, or maybe a hammer and a chisel or another rock. But yet there's these pyramids all over the earth. But we're just to assume that they figured it out on their own. The people in Central America figured out the same technique as the folks over in Egypt and everywhere else around the world. They are everywhere. So it goes back to, like you were talking about, ancient technology. There was something that was left out of the history books. that they didn't tell us, because building a pyramid like they built back thousands of years ago, even with today's modern technology, not talking about ancient technology, with modern technology, would be tough. It would be tough to do. So I'm not buying the whole scenario that they did it with their bare hands. Come on, man. For real? Yeah. Yeah. Built in inches, right, TJ? Giant pyramids in Antarctica. You're right, Michael. They're everywhere. Antarctica didn't used to be frozen. No, Antarctica was up near the equator years ago. It was a equatorial continent. So Antarctica is loaded with remnants of former life forms on Earth, um, whether it be biological life forms and or you know living organisms that roam the surface of the Earth. Let me put it to you this way: there are like viruses and bacteria that are frozen in the soil of Antarctica that if they were to ever be released into our environment, um, we would not like here you go. Here's Antarctica. And right now, the vast majority of Antarctica is frozen, okay? But if it ever thaws out completely, all the molecular components of viruses and bacteria are going to get caught up in these jets and circumnavigate the Earth. Most of us on the Earth have never been exposed to a lot of the viruses down in Antarctica. We haven't. So hopefully it doesn't thaw anytime soon. No, we don't want that to happen. No, that wouldn't be a good day, man. So that's why countries have been down there for years, going back to, oh man, the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. There have been countries at times 30, 40 countries at a time down in Antarctica, furiously digging through the ice because they want to know what's down there. You know what I mean? You're right, Katana. They don't have the equipment today to build pyramids like they did back years ago. I mean, they probably do have the equipment to maybe pull it off, but it would be a monumental task with today's equipment. It really would be. But I want to know how all these different communities shared the knowledge, or did they just figure it out on their own? I mean, it's just like, wow. Oh, somebody's birthday. Happy birthday, Michael. Yes, sir. Happy birthday, Michael. There are volcanoes under Antarctica. Yeah, Antarctica's frozen, but it's just like any other continent. Absolutely. Heck, like I said, it used to be up on the equator. I've got an app around here somewhere. I used to have it on my website. I don't have it on there anymore. I don't think. I change it up from time to time. Yeah, I took it off. Maybe I can put it back on. But it's an app that shows the Earth as it's evolved over millions of years in reverse. You can go back a million years, 65 million years, 300 million years, 700 million years, and it shows you the approximate location of all the continents on the Earth. And it's kind of interesting to go back 500 million years. Well, if you do go back 500 million years, and again, these are just approximations, but it does show Antarctica up by the equator in the Indian Ocean. You're right, Karen. And there's a lot still to learn. We haven't discovered all that there is to discover in all the oceans. At least I don't think. Oh yeah, you saw that, TJ? I gotta find it, buddy. I know I still have it. Let me see here. So it'll take a minute to find it because it's named something. It's name something unusual. Not necessarily. Oh, here we go. Got it. Ah, found it. Thank you, TJ. Here you go, buddy. Okay, this is 240 million years ago, right there. See? Again, this is approximate, but there's what the Earth looked like 240 million years ago. Right there, 240 million years ago. And if you were on Earth, this is what your continents would look like. Antarctica wasn't really a thing 240 million years ago. Half the Earth was water, half the Earth was land. Look at that. Looks like a big serpent there, right? Okay, let's go. And here you can go the different years. 66 million years ago. See how things changed? Continental drift. You got Antarctica, still for the most part thawed out, but it's kind of in place down in the southern pole. But if we go back 120 million years, Antarctica was still drifting this way. Go back 220 million years, Antarctica really wasn't there. It's more up in here, over here, and it just kind of drifted down into here. So that tells us that Antarctica had life forms, all kinds of life forms roaming the surface of Antarctica, right? Sure. One thing I noticed about Arizona, okay, Arizona at one time had water next to the coast. There's Arizona again, almost had a coastline there. There it did right there. Look at that. Arizona had a coastline. California was, for the most part, underwater. You see the water going through the central US. Here's the rest of the globe. Looks pretty wild, right? And for the longest time, the vast majority of this place was water. Yeah. So the more volcanoes that erupted, the more land that came out. There you go. Good grief. It's over half water right there, 370 million years ago. And there you go. That's all the land that was on the earth. Not much, right? Not much at all. And the land that was on the earth, look at the United States, Canada, underwater. I get this thing to stop spinning. How do we get it to stop spinning? Okay. Okay, but that's the South Pole coming around to, there's North America. Most of North America, including Canada, was underwater right there. The Appalachians right there. Look, the Appalachians are above. Those are the Appalachians, right? A lot of coal in here, right? That's why there's coal there. See? There's a big vein of coal through here. That's why. But yeah, but Arizona was not underwater going back 240 million years ago. Kind of surface. Yeah, there you go. 240 million. So Arizona, there's where I was looking for right there. Arizona did have a coastline. See that? Arizona did have a coast. Yes, it did. So pretty wild. I'll put that back on the the website. That's kind of fun to look back in time. Yeah. Yep. So Antarctica, you're welcome, Moon Fairy, and that's just interesting. Yeah, I know. You're right, TJ. You're exactly right. Yeah, that would be cool, right? And they probably have computer simulations somewhere that could show based off of. how the continents have drifted over, 200 million years, they could probably get pretty close by going 200 million years into the future. I would think. I would think so. Yeah. Excuse me. So yeah, there is a chance of weather today, guys. If you're in the Houston area, especially, a lot of available energy. We call it CAPE in the Houston area today, up into central and southern Arkansas, northwestern Louisiana, and all of north central Louisiana. You guys can see storms today. Absolutely. After that, the weather is gonna get cold east of the Mississippi. It's gonna be hot west of the Mississippi. I saw that too, TJ, and maybe they were going based off of this type of research, but yeah, it showed a big body of water going through North America. Mississippi River exponentially wider, correct? I saw that too. Um, don't know how accurate it is, but yeah, I'm sure that's a possibility. Absolutely. You're right. But that is kind of fascinating to look back in time. Here's Comet Atlas. You guys want to see Comet Atlas? It's hanging out with Jupiter right now. Get you a good view here. There we go. There's our wild and crazy friend, Comet Atlas, right there. He's out in the vicinity of Jupiter. It's almost here in about 10 days. It'll be at maybe 12, couple weeks. It'll be exactly at the orbit of Jupiter. So it's exiting the inner solar system, hanging out with Jupiter right now. This thing came in on the equatorial plane. Look at that. That is just wild. Comets don't do that. But that one did. That one sure did. Yeah, I've seen a lot of comets come through here, man. I, I've never seen one do that. There's its path right there. There's its road right there. Look at that. Isn't that wild? Came in straight, almost like it was pre-programmed to come in at an angle like an airplane would fly. That's wild. Oh, got another hacker again. Yeah. Oh, these poor hackers. Yep, got it. I see it right there. I'm not going to click on it, but um, these people just don't have a life to run around and try to hack people. We were talking about scammers. Just beware, guys. There's all kinds of scammers, and the reason I know this is a scumbag email is because it's an email from myself, and it's got TPIFUQN space LXRMV. It came through 6 minutes ago at 7:50 a.m. and it's an email from myself. So we know it's a scumbag scammer. Yeah. So just be careful, guys. Protect yourself. There's a lot of that stuff going on. And I got clipped by probably that same scumbag right there. And oh, sad. Greetings from South Africa. Hey, what's up? Sierra and Watson. That's a good question. Reginat 1825. It's so far away from the sun right now, it's going to be almost impossible to see because it's not being heavily influenced by solar wind. Solar wind is what makes it glow. The closer it gets to a star like our sun, the more it's going to glow, or at least be visible. The farther away it gets, the less visible it gets. So no, probably won't see it out there, but that's where it's at. Right, TJ, that's where that cat's from, Syria. Yeah, I know. It's really unfortunate that we have a segment of our global society that does that to people. It's very unfortunate. Yeah, that's an email from myself. So I guess they think I'm going to click on that, so they can have access to my email, and I'm not. I'm not going to click on. I'm just going to block them. Yeah, no problem. And they're probably watching right now. I don't know if they're aware of this channel. They may be, and I really don't care. No, I know who they are. I know what needs to be done, and we're doing it. That's all we can do. And protect yourself in the future. But yeah, I believe it, TJ Daily. Yeah, it's unfortunate. It really is. These people don't have anything to offer the world, so they just scam other people that try to do something legitimate, I guess. I don't know. What's up, Moon Fairy? Yeah, they don't have anything to offer, so they just scam people. I hear people that have these TikTok channels and YouTube channels where they call scammers like this one here would probably be a good one if you could find the number. Call them up, and then they, in turn, expose them, scam them, um, not scam them, but they expose who they are. Just like I have a folder right over there on that monitor that has a lot of information because I do research and I found the person. I know where their country of origin is, unless it's a VPN. Um, but I've got people working on it. So, man, if it's a real person, I'll know their entire life story here by the end of next week. Yeah, entire, more than I want to know, to be honest with you, but I will know their entire life story. Yes, there are people out there that can do that. It is very satisfying to watch. I enjoyed it too, TJ, even though I didn't watch the whole live stream. The live stream was very long. But I found it refreshing that people were doing that. Good for them. I support them. That's great. That's great. I got people working on it. Yeah, absolutely. And we're going to verify that these are real people first that access my account. And then from there, we're going to find out everything there is to ever know about them. Yeah. How many cars they've ever owned, what kind of cars they've owned. And when I say everything, I mean everything. These people are that good when it comes to scammers. Yeah. It's not okay. It's not okay to do it to anybody. Nope. It's just not okay. And it's never stopped, just like the situation we talked about yesterday with the scam phone calls. Your phone has turned into a device that is used to harass you. Your phone it has turned into a nonstop vessel of scam calls. All day long, you're getting scam calls, one after another, after another, after. And yes, more than likely they're generated by AI. That's why somebody was saying, "Oh, AI has been so good." Yeah, maybe in some degree, I get that, but it's also created this automation of auto dialers that dial phone numbers just all day long. My wife got one the other day. It's been about a week ago, a week and a half ago. She got three or four spam calls within a matter of about 15 seconds, back to back to back to back to back. It was just shocking. It's a form of harassment, but it's being allowed. You know what I mean? These phone companies that give out phone numbers to people, they should be held responsible if you start getting harassed like that. Um, I don't know to what capacity, but your phone number shouldn't be given out, period. But it is. Maybe so, TJ. I don't know. We'll wait and see. Yeah. You just got to do what you got to do, man. You got to do what you got to do. And sometimes you do cross the wrong person. So just do right by people. Do people right. Don't do to people what you wouldn't want done to you. It's just that simple. It's a very simple code. Don't do to anybody anywhere what you wouldn't want done to yourself. Because trust me, there's going to be that person out there that you may cross the wrong way, and they're going to quietly find you and hold you accountable. Because obviously, the system's not going to hold them accountable. This stuff goes on and on and on. It's been going on for decades. It's going to continue to go on. So you can't depend on somebody else to handle it for you. I learned that a long time ago. You got to do it yourself. You got to figure it out yourself. It's very unfortunate. And I'm not talking just that type of scumbag. There's so many different layers to our society that have just gone south. You can't even go get an honest estimate for a brake job for your car without them trying to grossly overcharge you. It's like, again, why are you overcharging people? Wouldn't you rather have a steady flow of customers and a good reputation for, man, those guys are fair, they're fast, and they do a good job? Or would you rather have a reputation known as, wow, they're super expensive, I'll never go there again? Well, give me all of those customers that need something done. I'll be fair, charge a fair wage and a fair price. They're happy, I'm happy, and I got a steady flow of business. But no, the new business model is charge as much as you can, as often as you can. That's the new business model. It's not a very good business model because what people are going to YouTube University and learning how to do it themselves. Yes, yes. My son has put brakes on two cars sitting out there all the way around because you can't go get an honest brake estimate anymore. So people are going to YouTube University, seeing how to do it one time, and once you do it once, then you can do the rest of them. So in the end, they lose because now people are doing it themselves. So if they were fair, okay, well maybe, but no, not going to reward people that are trying to rip me off. So I'll do it myself. Do others as yes, them as it seems so simple. I hear you. You're right, TJ. That's the simple code that's been around as long as it's as old as time. What happened? What happened to that code? Don't know. What's up, Fajita? I can't pronounce it. I'm sorry. Fajita's official. Michael, good morning. TJ Daily, yeah. Ego, I know. Moon Fairy, TJ, yeah, you're right, TJ. I don't know. So I saw somewhere on I don't know, somewhere online, a guy was charging like, I don't know, $600 to do brake pads on cars, just the front. I'm like, wow, okay. I mean, 600 doesn't seem like a lot, but for what you're getting, it's really pathetic because brake pads for the front of a vehicle are, I mean, I think an expensive pair of pads might be 60 bucks. 60 bucks to replace the brake pads on the front of a car. Yes, you have to have a floor jack. Okay, you got to jack the car up. You have to have the ability to take the tire and rim off of the hub, you know. And then the pads are just right here. So you take off a screw behind the caliper that holds the pads in place. There's a screw at the top and there's a screw at the bottom. And you take off this little spring configuration on the front. There's your pads. You compress the caliper with this little tool. You push the caliper in that holds the pads so you can put your new pads in. You compress it all the way, set your new pads in the caliper, and then set it over your rotor. Put your screw back in, your screw back in, put your spring back on the front, and you put your rim and tire back on. That's it. Yeah, you press your brakes. Here's a little trick that most people don't know about. When you do that, open up the lid of your brake fluid reservoir. Okay, take the lid off, just set it to the side. Don't lose it. Once you get your new calipers on, press your brakes 5 or 6 times, and that'll push any possible air out of the lines through your brake fluid reservoir. And then put your cap back on. You're good to go. You're good to go. Now, that would take the average person that doesn't necessarily have to be super mechanically inclined, that has just a few simple tools, less than an hour. Less than an hour. And honestly, you're gonna have less than $60 in parts. But guys are charging 600, seeing guys charge 1,500. It's like, holy cow. I don't know. Was that another scam email? Nah. And see that's about right because over in Syria, I think it's around 6 o'clock at night. So yeah, probably getting into the sauce, sending out some scam emails. Yeah. Yeah, I saw a scammer over there just bought him a new Mercedes. How about that? Yeah, about a month ago, a scammer over there bought a brand new Mercedes. Isn't that something? I know, right? Got the license plate and found out who it was. Bingo. They tried to hide the license plate, but it didn't work. You're right there, TJ Daly. Building houses is a lot of physical labor. Absolutely. Yeah, there you go. That's crazy. $300 for a 10-minute battery install. Oh my God. Oh, that is crazy. It's a lot easier than doing the old drum brakes back in the 80s with all those springs. Boy, you ain't lying. Yeah, it's a lot easier now. It really is. Shit, you can replace the rotor, the hub assembly that has the bearing in it. That has the hub assembly has your lugs, your screws that hold your rim on. That's your hub assembly. It's got a bearing inside. Pop that out, put the new one in, put your new disc on, your rotor, and then you put your pads and caliper back on. Press your brakes with the cap off to get any air out. Yeah, yeah, you're right there. SWAT nightmare. We do too. Um, my son's very, you can show him once how to do something, and he's very bright. He's very bright, and he's very ambitious. In fact, this house right here, he replaced all of the sockets. I showed him how to do one. Okay, he loves to do things like this. So I showed him how to replace because we wanted a different color of socket, in this house because we painted it, and then the sockets just looked out of place. So we wanted new ones. So we got new ones that were a different color, and they were white, pure white. I showed my son how to replace one. Okay. Yes, I used to work on houses years ago myself. I've done a lot of home interior work, exterior work, a lot. So I showed him how to do it. I'm trying to pass that knowledge on to him, and he's a learner. He replaced once I showed him how to do one safely. He replaced every light switch and every socket in the entire house by himself. Took him about 3 days. But he loves to learn. And he did it on his own. And he slowed down when when he started to see he was down to one room left. He slowed down because he didn't want the project to end. Thank you, Moon Fairy. I'm passing that on to him because I want him to be self-sufficient. Yeah, I don't want him to have to depend on others, especially in today's world. Good grief. You teach a man to fish, listen here. If you teach a man to fish, he'll have fish for life. If you give a man a fish every day, he'll starve. True, TJ. That's true. I try, Moon Fairy. I do try. I try to be a good dad. I've taught him a lot of things over the years. I'm still trying to teach him things, and what's refreshing about it is he wants to learn. You can see him absorb that knowledge. He loves it, and I like to see that. People have to want to learn. You know what he's doing? He's teaching himself multiple languages right now. The very first thing he does when he gets up in the morning, keep in mind, he's 18 years old. He could get up and start kicking back and playing video games all day long. No, he gets up every morning and does a 10-minute class on Dutch. He's learning Dutch right now. Yeah. He wants to, for whatever reason, he wants to learn Dutch. So he takes a 10-minute course every morning, does that every day. That equates to an hour a week. He's learning a new language. I'm like, wow, you go, bud. You go. Knowing is half the battle, Michael. Yeah. But that's just an example. He loves to learn. And good for him. I'm super proud. He's bilingual. No, it's not an easy task. Um, and he's fluent in Eastern Russian of all things. Like, okay, obviously he knows his share of Spanish, Dutch, Eastern Russian. And the reason he learned Eastern Russian is because he had a little relationship with a girl he never met from Eastern Russia online, and he had to learn the language, even though she spoke English. He wanted to learn her language, so he learned it. He learned 1,000 words, so he knows that. Yeah, it's something he likes to do, and I'm real proud of him. What's up, Alicia? Yeah, that's very cool. Well, listen, guys, you know what time it is. It's time for breakfast. I'm hungry. I've been in here since 5:30 this morning, 5:40. So, what have I had to eat? I haven't had anything. I'm hungry. I'm gonna go get something to eat. Right on. I can sing some Rammstein songs in German right now. Right on, guys. Well, listen, hey, thanks for hanging out with me, TJ. Thank you. God bless and have a wonderful day. And guys, thanks for watching. Have a super day. Thank you, Alicia. We'll do it again this afternoon. Okay. Thanks for watching. Have a super day and be safe.